Hello, everybody. This is Eileen, and welcome to ICE Lesson Plans and Teaching Strategies. Today, we will learn about how to ask for and give advice. In our daily life, we ask for advice all the time because we don't know what to give priority, and we ask a colleague for help. So you need to learn some essential phrases how to ask for advice. Besides, we give also advice to all people all the time. Imagine that you're having a conversation with and someone is explaining a problem, asking for advice directly to you. Then you can use one of today's useful phrases to help them make a decision. So stay with me today. And now let's get started. Let us learn some of the essential or key questions when asking somebody for advice. We can ask an advice by saying, "What would you suggest?" Suggest means to mention or recommend something that you think about or something or someone should do. Here, you suggest a thought or idea. What do you think I should do? This is a phrase or a question which, when used, is assist or guide the person who the question is asked to give opinion on the situation. What do you think I should do about? And what should I do about are phrases or questions seeking guidance on what the best thing to do. What ought I to do? Ought to mean you're asking what is right to do in a particular thing when asking for advice. If you were me, what would you do? This is to ask someone's advice, putting himself or herself on your situation, what he or she is going to do to solve the problem. Can you give me some advice about, or could you give me some advice about? This means you're asking an opinion that someone could offer you about what you should do or how you should act in a certain situation. What would you do in this situation? Here, you're asking a solution or remedy on a certain problem in a particular place at a particular time to correct it or improve it. All right, so let us learn how we can give advice. Here are some essential or key answers when giving advice. We can give advice by saying, "If I were you, I would." This is when you are giving advice about what would you do in the same situation as the other person. You imagine yourself in their position or situation, what you would do to solve the problem. Why don't you? In this advice, you are suggesting most of the time. Here, you is specifically referring to an action that you think the person you're speaking to should do. You'd better, or you would better. In this phrase, you are making a strong suggestion to someone, an order to someone to do to make the situation better. You ought to. In this phrase or advice, used to express an obligation or an expectation that someone should do something, the right thing to do. Have you thought about if you take my advice, you'll or you will? Here, you are pointing out that you are giving someone your honest advice or opinion, possibly without being asked for it. I think you should, or maybe you should. These are used to talk about something that you feel greatly to suggest to someone. How about eating fruits and vegetables instead of meat? You might try searching on the web some best ways how to gain weight. How about going to the cinema on the weekend? I would advise you to. This is to suggest what should be done, or to recommend, or to give the best information or advice to someone. All right, it's conversation practice. I have a bad acne spot on my face. If you were me, what would you do? If I were you, I wouldn't worry so much. That's quite normal during adolescence. You'd better avoid fatty foods. Try to eat more fruits and vegetables. Maybe you should avoid stress because it can cause skin problems. My hair is too curly. What should I do to get straight hair? I advise you to use some hair oils like coconut oil and olive oil. You ought to use a heavy conditioner every time you wash your hair. How about going to the hair salon and ask them to make your hair straight? Now it's your turn. What advice could you give on the following situations? Don't forget to use our key answers on giving advice. Are you ready?